We've been talking a lot today about gender, the issue of gender in developing countries. Is gender also an issue in the developed countries, especially in the European Union?
I wish it were. Currently, we are just, so let's say the other way around. We try to bring it to the attention of the politicians, of the countries, of the organizations, environmental and women's organizations, and had a hard time to bring attention to it. But most recently, we got a contract from the European Gender Institute, so it's working closely to the European Union institutes and providing them with data and research on gender and gender equality issues in the various parts of the European Union. And what we did is looking, so one step was to provide a background report, so looking at what research is available, which data do we have, where is there evidence for gender issues in climate change policies, and in particular in energy and transport. So we had put a focus on energy and transport in the 27 member states of the European Union. And what we found is, I think most people know already, there are gender differences in consumption patterns, and consumption patterns we know affect greenhouse gases very much. We know that there are different gender needs because of different roles in society and care activities, how they are distributed between women and men. We know, and this might be different to developing countries, we know about attitudes and perceptions towards climate change policy. So women are much more supporting really strong climate change policy, so saying our governments always go ahead, don't wait for the others, do more, we need more, please provide a planet where our children can live on, and so on. And so that's an important issue. So women would be the best alliances for the governments to promote their climate change policy. And finally, we found that there is evidence regarding the impacts, or how the climate measures, climate policy measures and mechanisms and instruments, programs, whatever they have, how they impact women and men differently. This is mostly due to the differences in the social economic situation.
Just to go back a little bit, you mentioned gender issues in relation to transport and energy. Specifically, what did you come up with in your findings?
Yeah. So the step I mentioned was a background report based on a research review. And what we are currently doing is looking at the measures which were reported to the UNFCCC by these 27 member states, the huge list of measures they've undertaken in this area of energy and climate change, the main sectors to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in industrialized countries. And what we found, it was not so surprising, but we were disappointed anyway. None of these measures take into account gender issues. So there is this policy of gender mainstreaming implemented in many European countries. And in particular, it isn't done in Scandinavian countries, which usually are forerunners in gender equality issues and gender equality measures. So we had to start at zero. So, and I think nobody has done this work before, and we looked at three transportation measures and three measures in the area of energy to analyze how gender might be an issue in these things, in these measures. In the transport sector, gender issues are quite well known, but mostly on local level. So we are looking at the national level and the national level policies, and there you can find anything. On local level, you find a lot on transport, not on energy. And for example, just to take one example, we looked at the German feed-in tariff. So this one is very well known here in this climate change arena, where feed-in of renewable energy from power plant gets a guaranteed price from the energy companies, and it's taken into the grid. They have to pay for it, and we looked how it doesn't have any gender implication if it is done in that way. And to do it very briefly, what we found is that in this renewable energy sector, the employment increased rapidly in that time. So there were I don't know, I don't have the right number. It's about 280,000 new jobs created in that area. But if we look at these jobs, it's mainly those for males. So it's not about blaming males that they choose for technical jobs or technical education, but you have to support also women that they can benefit from these projects and from these increase in the labor market. That's the one hand. The other hand is that the energy, the price for electricity, it's a little bit 10%. It's raised up a bit because this money is distributed to everybody, not everybody, but mainly to the households. And of course, those who do have least money in the society, they suffer most. And so 10% more costs for electricity is for many women, in particular single mothers and elderly women, it hurts for them. So what we need is maybe a little bit more gender sensitive measures which accompany these very good programs. So.